Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Good morning. Sounds like it. I always think I come in too low on volume. Who's in the house? I saw Roger posted first. Is that right? Am I right in that thinking? Congratulations, Roger. 50 XP, buddy, for you. Victor Y, good to see you. Shanbot. V42. Jim, good to see you. Accidental Rob. Joe, Tad, Paul. Good to see Paul Turner. Welcome. Victor, good to see you. I think I said Victor twice. Loud and clear. Fantastic. Fantastic. Excelente. Jeff. Good morning, Jeff. Rise and shine, buddy. Rise and shine, buddy. Hey. Here you go. Just sprayed probably vanilla Coke all over my pop filter. Awesome. Flint, good to see you. Sean with the gun show. These guns? It's all illusion. It's how the camera is angled. It's like Salzwedel at Gamehole Con. There's a picture on our Discord with Eric Salzwedel at Gamehole Con, and the way the picture's taken is like head's about, that big, and then his arms like this huge. It's so strange. No editing, just weird angle. Yeah, no guns on this guy. Guns are shrinking. M. Catron, good to see ya. Morning. Orcus Dorcas, Strategicon. And Gallifrey 1. What? Well, cool. Yeah. This is the... I'm getting a little breaking up. Hey, Ryan. Morning. Yeah, this is... Jim says the picture of Eric is the best one I took at GHC. So Jim took it. Yeah. It's hilarious. So I think it's it's Strategicon weekend as well as Genghis Khan, I believe, in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Is anybody at Genghis Khan or going to Genghis Khan? Roger, you're probably the closest that's in the chat at this point to Genghis Khan, I'm guessing. Is it uncouth to tell where people are from? Am I doxing people? I shouldn't be, right? Look at this. So you get the full effect. No shame. Harrigan, good to see you. Mirko runs at 9. Are you there, Harrigan? Good morning, by the way. Oh, he's about to leave. Okay. Then I will understand if you have to bounce, of course. Because I wouldn't understand otherwise. Roger says, I'm going to see the guys, but not to attend. Oh, really? Have you guys met yet? Like face to face? Maybe you haven't. I don't think you have you? So for those not in the know, Harrigan, Roger, and Mirko are all in the same state, if you will, out in Colorado. But Colorado's a pretty decent sized state, so. And I think Harrigan and Mirko are relatively close to each other. Oh, I have not met. Okay. And Mr. White. You know what? I thought I saw him in a picture yesterday. Somebody took a picture. Carl Kiesler. Carl Kiesler's at Genghis. And I follow Carl Kiesler on Instagram. And he posted a picture of his Sharknado game. I think it was Sharknado. And I'm pretty sure it was Mr. White. Yeah, cool. That's very cool. Good. Awesome. William, good to see you. Morning. Oh, he did. Okay. I did not see the pics of Genghis thread. I should probably do that. I've been off the Discords for a little bit. So, all right. So, yeah, man. All right. Oh, excuse me. So I was thinking about the question of the day, and I came across a drive-through RPG product. I don't know if I actually probably didn't bookmark it. What was it called? Yeah, here it is. So I came across this as an aside. Shadow Dark Hexcrawl, full version. I'll put a link in the show note or in the chat if you want to check it out. But I was just kind of going over this, and then it dawned on me. And I figured I would propose this to you guys in the spirit of the D's and D's 50th anniversary, if you will. When you run a tabletop RPG, and this could vary from like the type of game that you run to the actual game that you run. I say the type as in like genre and things like that, right? So I was thinking like how when you run an RPG or play an RPG, there's certain elements. We'll stick with maybe. No, I don't want to. I don't want to put a box around the type, like it's fantasy or espionage or horror. But when you play an RPG, there's elements of like if it's fantasy, there's elements of hex crawl. If it's maybe right exploration, hex crawl, action, social and role playing. Mystery, intrigue, if you will. And you take all of those pieces and you throw it into your RPG. And this stems from the ultimate quest, if you will, not to find the RPG, but to have a great experience in a tabletop role-playing game. Okay, like when somebody leaves, I know I'm a little. Just follow along. I know I'm a little. Whoa. Bear with me for a second. But when somebody leaves the table, whether it be after a session, a campaign, whatever that is, and you go, oh, that's so great. It's so great. It's such a great game. Oh, my God. Sometimes it's, oh, my God, that's so great. We didn't even roll a die. It was like so awesome. What elements kind of make up that awesomeness? Or like, what are your preferences as far as, like, do elements play a role? Say yes, and then which ones? So if you were to say, you know, in my games that I like to run or play, it's 50% drama, 20% adventure, 30% action, right? No wrong answers. Pretty complex question. Kind of a multi-parter thing, many moving parts to consider. Like, what does that look like? And you don't even have to list percentages. Like, if it's not like, you know, I don't know, Sean, I don't know how to break it down. Like, what top 3 things, elements, pieces do you like to have in a tabletop RPG session or campaign? Like, I really want, and maybe in order. Just do it in order. So at least then, like, you know, type it in left to right, right to left. I don't know, whatever. Like, in order. This is what I like to see in my games. All right. Kind of, I don't know. Does that make sense? Am I asking too much of you guys this morning at this early hour? Maybe. You know, Orcus Dorcas is the litmus test of these questions. Like, if I'm asking too kooky or it's too weird, he will let me know. Anyways, does that make sense? Like, I'm thinking, like, I really like my scenarios and my adventures to be, you know, high octane, high action, a little bit of drama, and whatever adventure, not swords and sorcery. That's not really. That's kind of a bigger bucket, if you will. Does that make sense? Is it like I said, the crazy question came out of something about a Shadow Dark. the ones that are under $5, the community, like, just scrolling across the banners. And this one caught my eye because I'm like, well, I like Forbidden Lands, and I like the hex crawl adventure survival components of Forbidden Lands. And I thought, well, Shadow Dark's kind of got its little niche, and I don't know if it's for me because it seems very much, hey, Shadow Dark is this: going into dungeons, dark places, looking for treasure, trying to survive against monsters kind of thing, right? It's not, yes, you can do it for adventures outdoors and across the mountainside and the land and this, right? The journey, but it's really not. Like, you can play it and use it for that, but so that's why this caught my eye. And then I thought, well, it's hex crawl. So I thought, well, how many people like certain things? Like, I really like exploration in my RPG. So that's where it came from, right? And oh, by the way, I really like high action. Or some people would just say, dude, I want exploration. I want to uncover the unknown. And then I like social interactions. I am thespian role player. And then maybe action is kind of the last thing, right? Just to get an idea. Because we all have I think when we sit down at the table, there's a lot of moving parts when we game master, especially with players. And players like to see different things in their games. And I think sometimes when game groups fall apart, it's not understanding those things. And there are a lot. And, there's a lot of knobs, right? It's like a freaking mixing board. And you're like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And you're trying to always dial those in a little bit so that everybody's getting a little tasty taste of whatever they like and prefer. Too much action, you alienate the thespian social person. If it's too little action, you lose the min-maxer that loves, like, I got all of these things because I want to just be Joe Kickass. So that's where I'm coming from. Does that make sense? Does that help? Orcus Dorcas, makes sense. Need to make a hotel coffee and think about it. Well, yeah, for sure. And you can elaborate too. Like, it doesn't have to be like a 3-word answer by any means. Like Tad's says, discovering a fantastic, unexpected world, surprising solutions to problems, and then player interaction and relationships. Great. Thank you, Tad, for playing along. I really appreciate it. Jim says, could be a combat encounter, could be a near TPK crossing a river. Could be a muskmelon that sometimes looks like a head. Jim, thank you. That was fantastic. So the muskmelon looks like a head references from when I ran Mothership. I think it might have been for the first time with a group. A few sessions at Curtis Takahashi kind of had a psychological episode, if you will, with a head in a bag and mistaking it for a talking melon of some kind. Yeah, quite bizarre. Good callback, man. Oh, Nubis. Morning. Afternoon to Nubis. Mystery/investigation of a common thread to tie the campaign together. Exploration, problem solving, combat, in that order. Okay, interesting. See, I'm thinking something's going to come out of this. Okay, great, good stuff. Wayne says, stepped away for a minute, caught the last of that. What was the starting question? Yeah, so let me explain again. Take 10 minutes to explain myself. It's not a very straightforward question. I'll boil it down to this because you can kind of look at some of the answers that people are getting at. Is when you run a game or play a game, tabletop role-playing game, there are certain components that go into that game, right? Hex crawl, exploration, social interaction, drama, intrigue, chases, mystery, did I say exploration? About the third time. On and on and on and on. What are some of the things that you really prefer? Top 3 things that you really prefer to see and experience in a tabletop role-playing game. In the game. Not like, oh, I'm sitting down with my friends and eating Cheetos and drinking Mountain Dew. It's all great and fun, man. It doesn't even matter what the adventure is. Like, not that. I'm talking about, like, love puzzles, exploration, and high-octane chases. Fantastic. Whatever. 5 minutes from now, I'll have to sum that up again. I should clip it and, like, this, here. Shambot says, yes, great exploration that leads to tension and potential combat/action with some music that helps to ease everyone into the scene. So set the tone, if you will. Set the mood. Then that magical moment when the players take control of the story. Got it. Very good. Very good. Figured the last few questions kind of been softballs, favorite module, things of that nature. Like, what are the 3 things that you really enjoy about, I would love to see this in every session that I play in RPGs. Well, maybe not every session, because then it might get a little boring, but 3 things that are like, just love it when my games have these things in it. It's probably more from a player perspective, too. Because a game master, I think we try to put them in the game. But I don't know if we enjoy them as much as the player when it's conveyed to the player. Puts the player and player character in those situations. And part of this goes from... Maybe part of this stems from changing from one game, like me, to an next. Like, to me... I had kind of an epiphany when I played Call of Cthulhu for the first time. And I was a late bloomer to Call of Cthulhu, right? I didn't grow up with Lovecraft in my brain and appealing to me. Jeff's in the chat. We didn't play any Call of Cthulhu or those, I don't know, horror games we really didn't get into. We just didn't jam on it for whatever reason. And then fast forward, I'm like, God, I think it was literally like 2015. Like, it was very much late in the years for me to go to a Call of Cthulhu game and understand that not everything in a role-playing game has to be high action, kill the monster, take its loot, magic. And it's literally like, so if you're playing a debutante and you're playing everybody's an investigator, but some of the archetypes in a Call of Cthulhu game, those are different. That's like a whole different ball game. And to me, it was like, wow, this is kind of cool. I like this. And why? Because I'm taking on I'm the rich guy or whatever, funding things and kind of thrown in as, everybody's referred to as an investigator in that game. So it's different. It provides different elements in a Call of Cthulhu game. Can it have action? Absolutely. Is it the same type of action than you might find in a D&D or Sword and Sorcery game? Maybe. Probably not all the time. Some of those things. So I'm kind of like, so if I like look back and go, wow, well, why do you like Call of Cthulhu? And then I go, well, it's because of these 3 things. Or why do you like the games you like and what it provides, right? Maybe that sums it up a little bit better. Does that make sense? I keep talking. That's what I'm supposed to do up here. Dance, monkey. Right? All right. Always. Gabe. Whoops. So Jeff says, my first encounter was my son and his friend group play Call of Cthulhu. Yes. Right. Gabe says, when I play, I want to be surprised by interesting tension, strategy, and tactics. I experienced a very interesting Conan encounter 2 weeks ago and complimented my GM afterwards. Awesome. Why is Siri talking? I have no idea. Great. Excellent. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. Men is for anywhere and anytime at all. And N. Orcus Durcus. Ryan West says, can I answer Dungeon Crawl Classics? It's simple. The modules feel otherworldly and the combat is simple. Sure, you could boil it down to, there's no wrong answers here. If you're like, this is the game and it boils down and has everything that I want in it. But if for some of the folks that may not know what Dungeon Crawl Classics, kind of got to elaborate a little bit. So you did. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Chambot says, exactly, Gabe, about the players taking ownership of the adventure, and you have such great buy-in from them all. Yeah. So Michael says, there are two things I focus on in every game. Building a story beyond the group, moving from encounter to encounter, and opportunities for world building. New lore and secrets add enjoyable depth. Thank you, Michael, for sharing. Much appreciated. Tim chimes in. One, drama, novelty, and strong exploration of theme. So that thing is going to change depending on what you're playing, right? Right, Tim? So if there's a theme, the theme changes from one game to the next. You're diving into that area. Got it. Orca says, it's a tough one because I have different expectations depending on the game. Of course, I agree. But, well, pick a one that you really enjoy. I think if you took, I haven't finished what he said. He said, like, for example, he says, what I enjoy and hits the feels about DCC is different from Delta Green. And I agree. That's why this is not an easy thing to question to answer, but it's a discussion. That's why I like it. But going to your point, if you took all the games that you really enjoy, like, here is my library of books, all the ones that are collecting dust and the ones that I really, really enjoy and I've played. And they're really good and I have a fun time whether I run or play. DCC, Delta Green, Swords and Wizardry, Conan 2D20, Star Wars FFG. And you took those and you drew big circles. And you had a Venn diagram and you put all the circles together. There's going to be elements of each one that probably overlap. Now, having said that, there's going to be some that have a little bit more of this. There's going to be some that have a little bit more of that. But there's going to be, if you boil it all down, you put them all in a pot, crank up the heat, and you distill that into a beaker, you're going to pour yourself a nice little shot glass of, concentrated 1, 2, and 3, right? So, for example, in DCC and Delta Green, I can probably tell you there's components of the weirdness, right? DCC's got kind of the weirdness going on. Delta Green's got a little bit of the weirdness going on. So that triggers some dopamine in the old Orcus Dorcas brain. Don't drown that thing, but. So Wayne says, I think the three things are different based on the setting and theme, going to Orcus's point for sure. In general, I want to have some agency. Fair. I want to experience some wonder and generally danger. Absolutely. Totally. Yeah. And Wayne frames it up in a way that's, yes, got it. It doesn't have to be like, well, a little action, a little drama, a little this. Like, to his point, the agency, wonder, and danger. Brian is going. It's kind of two questions. Which game do you have the most fun with, and why? That. So I'm a fraction. I'm a fraction that a math teacher has given you that you have to find the lowest common denominator, and I think Ryan has done that for me. Hey, Caverna, good to see you. How you doing? And I don't think it's a game. I don't think it has to be the game necessarily. I think it's easier to distill it down to what Ryan is saying is like, what game do you enjoy and why? And then you're like, because I like the action, drama, and agency that I get. Yes. But It may not have to be game specific. I think game, when you boil it down to a game, then it's like, oh, that game, got it. It's easier for me to kind of go, got it. But I also think it might be maybe too narrow. I don't know. Too defined of a bucket. Defined of a bucket. I don't know. That's not what I'm looking. Too defined. Too narrow. I don't know. It's true. It's kind of, I mean, take all the games you like to play, and what are some common elements that come out of those? That's what I would say. But I do I do have an appreciation for Ryan's like, this is what you're saying. I'm like, probably, yes. Some people know me better than I know myself. So for me, if I look at some of the games that I really enjoy, I think right, and it's tricky because like, oh, Star Wars, I want you to do Star Wars-y things. I want you to jump off of speeder bikes and shoot laser beams across and, swing across the precipice and da-da-da-da-da. Like, yes, go, make it happen. If you fail, you're going to be in Cloud City, Luke Skywalker going down tunnels like a water slide, and then you're going to come out on an antenna. Like, maybe there's not a huge likelihood of death, but it's high action, go, go, go. Don't be afraid to take chances. But when you do that in Delta Green, you will die. So there's a trade-off, right? And I know that this question is complex because it's like asking, like, I don't know, when you're feeling a specific way, what kind of music do you like to listen to? Well, Sean, I guess it depends on what the feeling is. So I get it. Salt Heart of Saltlandia. It's more about the people and the joint commitment to enjoy the rules, whatever they are, and scenario. All right. I gotcha. Okay. Very good. This also tells me a lot about the person, like Kevin and his answer, right? Like, oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Ryan says, completely agree. I don't expect the same thing in a DCC game as a Star Wars game or a Delta Green game. Exactly. But like I said, if you took all three of those and you drew circles, there would be probably one or two like things that each one would have. Fair, right? I don't know. Maybe not. Those things are pretty. I think I could say this, the three things in common with Star Wars, Delta Green, and DCC is quite a bit of escapism, for sure. Like, you are going into that world through your player character and experiencing that world, and it's different, and that's what makes it unique. Like, one concern I had with when I pitched, Jeff's in the chat, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll speak on his behalf, by the way. I will give him voice. Because like one of the things when I pitched the game Delta Green to Jeff, I thought Jeff mentioned like it may be too close to what he does day to day. And so that's not something like, none of us want to play Office, The Gathering, the RPG. So what are some of those things that get us out of adulting in real life? What can I say, folks? Spicing it up a little bit. Little spice today. I suppose then, Orcus Dorcas says, the commonality of the Venn diagram would be engagement. Does the game make the trials and tribulations of the outside world fade away for 4 hours utilizing the components available? Yeah, that's one way to put it. All right. And Jeff says, okay, most important elements for me personally. The PCs are important in the story. Okay, yeah, I'm right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Not overshadowed by NPCs. Oh, well, so much for me, game mastering. Exploration and wonder, problem solving and or mystery solving. And he continues, good balance between fantasy and grit. All right. So when I say, so Jeff, when I go to you and say, hey man, what are you looking for in an RPG when we were talking about those fantasy games? And I say, look, what are you looking for? You know, that's the stuff right there. Perfect. Tim says, I'd play Office the Gathering. I'm surprised Roger didn't say that. Tim and Roger might want to play Office the Gathering. I'd play that. Nuba says same. Oh, you guys. And what does that mean, right? Oh boy. Here we go. Let's keep her moving. Keep her moving, as we say in the Midwest. Keep her moving. Accidental Rob says, for me, I like having buy-in from the other players, uncovering secrets, exploring the unknown, and chaotic encounters. 10-4. Ryan says, I mean, they made millions of dollars on a life simulator called The Sims. Maybe there are people who want to play Office, the sorting and filing. That is true. That is true. That is true. I would argue that there's probably not too many games that simulate real life. But maybe there's maybe we're missing out on a market. I don't know. Totally. Oh, Roger French, shots fired. If you want to play Office, just play Traveler. Hey-oh. Oh, Traveler burn. Oh, do not bring the Traveler people over here to burn the place down, okay? Caverna says, not sure if I got the question. Oh, I get it. If you don't get the question, that's okay. You're probably not alone, Caverna. I like sandbox games with exploration. All right. It is better if it has procedures. So it would be simple old D&D hex crawl to a Forbidden Lands. Got it. Tim says, I'm detecting strong preferences for PBTA, Fate, and Forged in the Dark games in these comments. Tim is saying, hey, everybody, these are the games. If you want this, you should play these games. Orcus, wash your mouth out, Tim. Jeff says, I have found that you have been mostly right in your gaming preferences over the years, and that it just takes me longer to come to the same positions. That's all right, Jeff. Probably because I don't get to game as much. ? Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Jeff, you are my muse at times, man, and that's not a bad thing. It's all good. Jeff, I've mentioned you, believe it or not. I know many people know of you because I talk about you on occasion. Now everybody's going to it's been all bad, Jeff. No, it hasn't. But I've mentioned this before on stream where there's individuals that they play one game forever. That's them, same game group, every Wednesday night till the dawn of time, from the dawn of time. That's fine. That is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. And I had stuff in the cap of my bottle, which probably just got on my keyboard, which means sticky keys. Anyways, but I think many of you here play multiple games, probably play more frequently, know of different rule systems, what they provide. You have very strong opinions on what you want in an RPG, right? Played with different groups and different people, go to conventions, et cetera, et cetera. And that spectrum from those two things are very different. Nothing wrong. They're just different. So, Jeff, to your point, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, it's just I don't play games that much. I don't want to be as plugged in, if you will, or whatever, how you want to frame that up. I'm trying to say it without being condescending or derogatory by any means, by anybody and how they play and what they prefer. But when we talk on the Discord and people that listen to RPG podcasts and watch YouTubes and streams and things of that nature, record actual plays, yada, 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 it's different than probably a huge population of the hobby. Like the large section of the hobby is not doing some of these things. So it's okay. They may be insulated from those based on location, technology, just personal interest. It's not their jam, you know. They like playing RPGs, but they don't want to. They don't want to be the sports ball, fantasy, football, baseball, hockey, tennis, golf person the entire year, which is totally fine. And then something might change, and they go, "Wait a minute, you know." They have fantasy baseball? What? And basketball? What? I want to get in on that stuff, right? So, Ryan says, roll for it. Oh, you get a 1. The IRS audits you. Back to the office, the RPG. I love how it starts. All these questions start on one thing. Something's mentioned, and then it's like, whoop, curve. Here we go around the curve. Tim says, player agency, buy-in, and unpredictable action are what those game engines were built for. Jeff says, I am one of those. Yeah, that's all right. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's so, then that's why, like, when I mentioned Delta Green or you coming to, like, hey, Sean, I want to try something. And Jeff's not career D&D guy. Like, he's played GURPS. He's played Savage Worlds. He's done different games, right? Star Wars, Top Secret, like Star Trek. So I don't want to say Jeff's like, he's a one game pony, if you will. Where am I going with this? Oh, but when he was like, you know what, we were playing D&D 5e for quite a while. I mean, we did Pathfinder and then 5e and things of that nature. And so he's like, you know what I want to do is I want to find a game that kind of incorporates these things. And I was kind of thinking of like going back to the old days of BX, if you will, and some of the principles that are kind of found in those games and in that space, like player knowledge versus character knowledge, or you know, solving things, like being a good player skill versus character skill kind of thing. Rulings over rules, things of that nature. So it's interesting for when Jeff got jazzed up about like looking into all these different games and like, holy cow, did you see this? You see that? Oh, you know, and this other thing. It's fun to see from my perspective. Like, if somebody's playing insert game here and that's all they like to play, and that's okay, nothing wrong with that. But when they start going, whoa, I didn't know about this thing. Whoa, this is really cool. Wow, I didn't realize that there was a game that actually it talks to me, it speaks to me. It's what I've been looking for. Like, the game I've been playing has been good, but I'm kind of, you know, I want to go into something else. Maybe it's not capturing this one thing, right? Oh boy, here we go. Shambot says, the new office temp approaches you for help. What do you do? Office the Gathering. Oh God. I bet you if I get some of these and kickstart them, they'd fun. $1,000, they fun. Jeff says, our group has changed over time, man. For sure. Absolutely. That's right. Life changes sometimes, things. Roger says, I believe the term is filthy casuals. That's what they call them in the postal system, casuals. Oh, it keeps going. Accidental Rob says, you've been told you can't drive the forklift, but you're standing next to it and the keys are in it. What do you do? Jeff's not to make sure I drown Jeff out. Totally get it. Your jack of all trades gaming approach is different than mine, focusing on 2 to 3 genre games. I also don't play in multiple game groups like many others. There you go. Yep, fair. Jim says, the only reason I've played a lot of different types of games is because I'm in a community of GMs who run a lot of different types of games. Yes. Vornak, don't forget fantasy cricket. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Orcus Dorcas, I have expectations, but I also don't hold a game ridiculously to task with those because I am also a cheap date when it comes to games. I'll play anything and tend to make my own enjoyment. Yes, I agree. Make it a zine. Oh, dude, these things take a lot of time. Plus, I'm not probably very good at any of that stuff. Jeff says you have exactly nailed it, Sean. Hopefully it's entertaining as I discover these games and you don't get frustrated. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't get frustrated. I am stoked that you are finding interest in different things, whatever they may be. So, this is my way of kind of like, hey, Jeff, you ever hear of free league games like Year Zero Engine? Yeah, check that out. Oh, not a big fan of that one. Oh, there's another one over here. How to get Jeff to be a free league convert. Jeff says, Jim, our old group has had Sean introduce us to a lot of new games over the years, and we've had fun. Mothership, 5e, and so on. Jeff enjoyed Mothership. It was a 2-shot. It was very short. Sometimes things bite. There's instances where it was interesting. Maybe I'll whip out Mothership again once I have the printed version. We'll see. There's so many games to play. That's the thing. There's so many. Everyone is Colville Supplement MCDM office. Oh, God. That's right. Don't forget to like the video, folks. Bonus. Hey, Ryan, bonus 50 XP for you, buddy. Take it. If you can level up, you got to do it off stream, though. That's when you got to take downtime to level up. If you like, give thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm sure, like, as I look at the video graph, it's probably like, here's the high time, here's when to ask. I should probably look at the time, like, oh, everybody is here usually around this time. That's when I should, 5-minute boink. Thanks, everybody, by the way. Roger, hey, man, you want to score some free league? First one's free. League. Yeah, you know the deal, Roger. Another free league pusher. You, Vornak, or just me? Yeah. Ty says, I love one system with a different setting. Got it. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Thank you for participating in today's rather convoluted question. Oh, yes. I was joking that you are, Sean. Yes, of course I am. Like an eye roll. Was there an eye roll emoji at that? Another free league pusher eye roll. Roger French. GURPS. Ty Prunty is saying he is a GURPS fan, Roger says. Yeah, for sure. GURPS, Savage Worlds, right? AD&D, if you're Brett. Toolbox game. Where did you get this 2D20, son? Who taught you this? Ty's a fake guy. Jim says, I'd play GURPS. Yeah. Well, you might play it. I mean, you'd play it, but he'd never run it. Jim says, I'd play GURPS. I'd never run it. That should be a question that I haven't posed. What game would you play but never run? No spoilers. Don't answer that. We'll get it next week. Remind me next week. We'll get that one out. Because I don't think we've asked that one. In BS Landia, GURPS plays you. All right, let's get into some stuff, shall we? Let's see. All right, we'll start off with this one that caught my attention. D&D. It's the year of D&D, 50th anniversary. Happy birthday, D&D. Back in what, March? Back in March? It's February. Back in January. D's and D's play the 20-sided die. The 20-side. Time out. From the top. Dungeons and Dragons play, as in theater, the 20-sided tavern to open off Broadway. The plot will be driven by audience decisions. Boy, that would be interesting. It's like Price is Right, the D&D play. Lower, higher, $5, $10, lower, higher, right, left, no, yes. Imagine the chaos. The first ever officially licensed theatrical adaptation of the popular role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons, also known as D&D, will open off Broadway at Stage 42, formerly known as the Little Schubert. Or is it Schubert? Performances of the 20-sided tavern begin April 19th ahead of an official opening night on May 5th. I wonder who wrote it. According to the official description, with a cast of 5 actors and over 30 playable characters, audiences will experience an expansive fantasy world set in the Forgotten Realms. Face riddles, puzzles, combat, and more to help shape the story. Laughter will flow like ale, and with the audience in full control and exciting reveals around every corner, no two shows are alike. For those seeking a more daring experience, there are opportunities to join the action on stage and test your strength, or dexterity, or wisdom, or charisma, through a variety of rollicking games, including trivia, charades, and ever-popular fantasy beer pong. Additionally, the audience will be invited to influence key plot decisions via Gameotics, a browser-based software that allows viewers to vote on which characters appear, what they explore, and more. It's like polling software. Got it. That makes more sense. 20-Sided Tavern is a collaboration of Curious Hedgehog, Showpath Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast, and Hasbro. Casting is currently underway. Actors with experience in improv and a passion for D&D are encouraged to audition here. This is my chance. Broadway. Gotta get my headshot ready, folks. D&D improv show. It sounds more like a D&D improv show than a play. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fun. I would catch that coming to a market near you when it gets off Broadway. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Calling my agent. Yeah, man, for sure. I would audition for that. I'm sure I would get paid very well to quit my daytime job. And, I will think of you all. I won't forget when I was Shawnee from the street, and I become actor. I know, Warnack. It's crazy, right? Jazz hands with advantage. Yeah. So my hope is that they just, there'll be snippets of this video and it'll just get routed. It'll go viral. And then they'll have to cast me. All right. Dude, what? I am delusional. You could make dozens of dollars. What is the going rate anyway? I gotta become a member of SAG, right? AFTA? I got my acronyms wrong, probably. All right. Alien RPG's answer to D&D Beyond gets a full release later this month. Oh, and I should probably put the link into the chat. I mean, because I think there might be somebody that wants to audition for the show. So I'll get to post the article. Roger French? Starring Roger French? What? I didn't know that guy was... Huh. Well, I remember that guy. He's on Broadway now? Yeah, Bright Lights, Big City, baby. What happened to Sean? He's gone all Hollywood and spells his name Sean now with an A-W. Never. Don't be fooled by the dice that he's got. He's still Shawnee from the block, says Accidental Rob. Hey, never lose sight of where he came from. All right. Let's see. So anyways, Alien RPG's answer to D&D Beyond gets a full release this month. So the Alien Tabletop RPG will release its own digital campaign app similar to D&D Beyond later this month, as Alien RPG Nexus is given a full release date by developer Demiplane. Okay, that sounded a little weird, where it says the Alien Tabletop RPG will release its own digital companion app. That seems strange because it led me to believe that Free League is putting out the app for the Alien and Tabletop RPG when it's really Demiplane. So it's just another feature of Demiplane. Just a feature. So if you're an Alien fan, the Nexus app for Alien will be the latest RPG to jump into the online toolkit, although I thought that was already kind of in the mix for Demiplane. Following the likes of Pathfinder, The World of Darkness, including Vampire the Masquerade, Marvel Multiverse, RPG, and Avatar Legends. Very interesting choices. In 2021, here it is, Alien RPG publisher Free League revealed its plans to launch a Free League Nexus supporting the Swedish studio's various titles, which I thought was the case. Alien RPG joins Mutineer Zero as the first two games from the publisher to get Nexus support, with Gothic Folklore RPG Vaesen, sci-fi series Coriolis, and throwback fantasy adventure Forbidden Lands also being teased for future edition of the announcement trailer. So my interpretation is, I know that there was interest in Free League, like, hey, we have stuff here. So I think the difference, to clear my confusion up, I will talk it out loud, speak out loud my thoughts. You have Demiplane, the website, and then you have Nexus as a part of that product, software as a service product that they offer. And then they also have like the library. So if you can buy the digital formatted some books and products there. Those are different than Nexus, right? So I think that's where I'm getting confused. So Free League has been part of or had their games offered through Demiplane. They have not been all part and had a Nexus. Okay. So now Alien is going to be part of that. Yes, Nexus is what Demiplane calls their game modules. Right. 245 Trioxin, Alien RPG. Who makes that? Heyo. Who says that? Freilager. Yeah. There you go. It's been listed as coming soon, William says. So that's why I was like, wait a minute. I know they've partnered or offered Free League games on Demiplane. But not the Nexus part of it, Sean. Oh, okay. Okay. First one's always Free League. All right. So yeah, there you go. Part of me is like, I don't know if I want a subscription to Nexus and some of that stuff and have all that digital, but I will say that if it has some type of campaign type of support or ways to navigate a campaign a little bit easier, I wouldn't mind investing into something like that. Like I think it's the Black Book, which is a lot of gumshoe. And I think it's done by Pelgrane, or there's a partnership with the Black Book and Pelgrane. And it's specific. So you can create characters in there for the different gumshoe systems like Knights Black Agents, Fall of Delta Green, Trail of Cthulhu. The one that Wayne ran for us. Oh my God, Swords of the Serpentine, and so if I were like, oh, I'm going to play Knights Black Agents for a long-term campaign, I'll pay the $3 a month or whatever it is to make my life maybe easier. All right. Gabe, you probably saw this. I'm surprised. I actually, for a moment, thought Gabe actually wrote this article. So, Against the Dark Master is a tabletop epic fantasy role-playing game of high adventure, heroic action, and heavy metal combat. Heavy metal? I don't know what's heavy metal. Oh my God. So, Ian World, Tabletop Jess from Ian World, one of the contributors there, did a little thing, and I think did a video on it as well. So I think, yes, video. So Jessica works full-time for Ian Publishing, doing all things that Morris does not want to do. Playing role-playing for decades in games industry since 2016. So she did a little video on Against the Dark Master. So if you're interested in that, I figured I say gay because he appreciates the game, amongst other folks. And a podcast. I put him in promotions. Oh, very good. Very, very good then, says Gabe. I got to get my things to show up here. So, if you're not familiar with Against the Dark Master, it's a kind of homage and influenced by Middle-earth role-playing, right? I have it over there somewhere in my armoire of books. Morning, Jason. Saw you slide in there. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. It's a big, if you get the book, it's big. I will say that. It's a beast of a book. He still hasn't unloaded it. No, I haven't unloaded it. I don't even know. I honestly, Gabe, don't know if I even have it listed. So I went through eBay 2 nights ago. Because I have stuff that I listed that I know hasn't sold, and they're just sitting on eBay. I don't think Against the Dark Master is on there. I still have it. Yeah. Along with a couple others. Like Kingdom, I think I still have. MCDMs, Strongholds, and Followers, I think I still have. There was another book. Oh, Apocalypse World is on there, which is strange because I have it priced to sell, and that's not cheap. Like the second editions, like some of them got it on there for like $80. Anyways, no, I still got it, man. Someday, I may play it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Paizo partners with Michael Gelfi Studios. So I'm like, what is this about? So, been a little removed from the Paizo scene, well, comparatively speaking, from the days of the original Pathfinder. Terrence is stupid. Is there a fire sale? It is. No. So back like quite a few months ago, I did unload quite a few RPGs and put them up on eBay. Like some of my limited covers of 5th edition. So anything I wasn't really going to play, I just like put them on eBay, and I still, sold some of them, and that's it. Zweihander, I think, is still on there. I haven't unloaded that one either. Anyways, back to this. Paizo partners with Michael Gelfi Studios. This is about sounds. Soundtrack. Available sound and ambiance options. So, music is Music is the same from the article. The blog post. Music is the same way when you're getting around the table and your GM hits play on something from Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. You know it's time for some bad guys to get sworded or sorceried. When you hear that Shire theme from Lord of the Rings soundtrack, you know they're about to enter a pastoral little hamlet full of relatable NPCs that your GM will make you fall in love with before shamelessly brutalizing and or endangering them to raise the emotional stakes. There's a track on the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack that I'll always associate with a particular nail-biting combat against the BBEG, just because it happened to come on at the exact right time. Yeah. Anyways, where was I going with this, says the author. If you read the final paragraph of Season of the Ghost blog last week, you may have caught our announcement that Paizo has officially partnered with the Michael Gelfi Studios, one of the industry's leading producers of music and audio, specifically tailored for tabletop RPGs to produce original music for select and upcoming Pathfinder adventure paths. You can go check out the official Season of Ghost Adventure Path trailer featuring a taste of that music. You know, Midnight Syndicate was big. Like, they came out with the D&D CD-ROM, right? The Sharn City of Towers book came with the CD-ROM of music. I have to imagine it's probably tough on costs. So good for Paizo, teaming up with them to make this. And it's all. How many people? Quick poll. How many people use music when they run a game? Somehow, anywhere, or have played in a game where the GM has implemented music to kind of set the tone, the pace, sense of immersion. Tim, there are tons of pages for background music on YouTube. There are. Support your creators, right? YouTube as well. Orcus Dorcas, both for me. In person I have. Online I have a goal to, but have not. Tricky online. Although Foundry does a pretty good job because the players can actually turn up and down their volume, which is nice. Because sometimes it's like, dude, it's too loud for me, man. And it can be distracting, especially when you play online. I get it. Ty says the best combat soundtrack is the fight music with Spock fighting Kirk. Tim, I used to use music all the time in the 90s when running Vampire. M. Catron, I do. To set the scene, makes for great soundtracks to hand out as gifts to reminisce about. Shambot, I sometimes run music, same with playing. Joe, I play in one where the DM does, but it's sporadic. It is another thing for me to juggle at the table, so I don't tend to do it. Nubis says I always use music when running. I play it for myself when playing. Unless the GM prepares it, I now play with people that always prepare music. Wow, cool. Ted, I always use music and curate tracks for different moods. Saltheart, dun 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 dun. Probably got that wrong. 245 Trioxin. It's been in a few games of COC or Call of Cthulhu with jazz playing. It was nice. There you go. Whoops. Hey, moving too fast. Pause, chat. I usually put music in my cans, but not playing at the table. Nubis playing Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle during a special moment on Hot Springs Island was extremely effective. Music can do a lot. Welcome to the jungle. Hey-o. Accidental Rob, I love using music when using Foundry, but I have a player who constantly mutes the music and ambient audio channels. Yeah, that could happen. Tricky thing with that is if you cue the music, it's going down. So you got to probably cue the music after you know it's going down. Versus like, oh, he hit play. You know what that means. All right. Let's see. There's the linky to the blog entry. So keep a lookout for that as it tends to come about. You hear that? Knocking on RPG's door. Speaking of Guns N' Roses, or what's his name? I don't know why I'm Dylan, right? Bob Dylan. Bundle of Holding. Old School Fantasy Role-Playing Magazine. Knock. Issues 1 through 3 in PDF from the Merry Mushmen. Knock gets rave reviews, typically. A lot of people speak very highly of Knock. High production, things of that nature, zines. So the retail price for some of these are $23 a piece. Now you can get the bundle on Bundle of Holding for like $18. So there you go. Figure I'd throw that in there. It's a decent bundle. I have not gotten it, but I'm thinking. Richard Cheese. Fear the Boot just had an episode about music at the table. Fear the Boot, man. Credit to those guys for still going. What episode are they up to, Roger? Episode 1252, being recorded February 17th, 2024. Ryan says, grab the Knock bundle already after reading the first issue. It's well worth it. Yeah, so there you go. Knock. Knock, knock. Well, this is an interesting one I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you guys read this one. Shout out to EN World, enworld.org. This is not affiliated with EN World, sponsored by, etc. We just like EN World and what they provide as far as content goes. So Morris did an expose, if you will, on the rise and fall of Evil Genius Games. So if you're not in the know, oof. So Evil Genius Games, Kickstarter's game company, really based on and focused on doing modern, like D20 modern, Evil Genius Games, like 5e modern, right? That's what their goal is. So a lot of the folks that had worked on D20 modern back in the day for WotC are involved with Evil Genius Games, and they have a ton of IP licenses, like, you know, Escape from New York. What else? I mean, there's a ton that I can't even remember. They had the Rebel Moon license, and then it fell apart, and they had to sue Netflix for it. So anyways, so recently, it starts, here's the opening line of the article. How does a company go from over 20 core staff to just 6 in the space of a few weeks? Morris continues, in the summer of 2023, Evil Genius Games appeared to be riding high. They'd made about $500,000 over 2 Kickstarter campaigns and had raised $1 million from several rich investors in the form of technology companies. Some people must think RPGs has got some money in it. The company boasted 25 to 30 core staff. An official tabletop role-playing game for a movie franchise called Rebel Moon was well under development. And Evil Genius Games standees and window clings representing characters from D20 modern-inspired everyday heroes could be seen in game stores across America. So it goes into, like, in this, you know, by the end of the year, Rebel Moon game was dead. Steph had been asked to work without pay for periods of up to 3 months. Freelancers were struggling to get paid. People were being laid off, and the company's tech company investors seemed to be having cold feet in the face of escalating expenditure and dwindling resources. February 2024, news of a rash, sudden resignations from Evil Genius started to spread. Staff announced their departures on social media. In the space of a few days, public posts were made. Ivis Flanagan, convention coordinator, Faith Lilly, chief product officer, Matt Francella, cartographer, BJ Hensley, executive producer, art director, Mike Bramnick, organized play coordinator, mainly citing ethical concerns with the leadership at the company. Between December 2023 and December 2024, half of EGG's workforce either resigned or were laid off. They did interview, somebody interviewed the CEO. I think it was at Morris. Yeah. So Morris spoke to ex-staff, current staff, as well as EGG's owner and CEO. So he asked Evil Genius CEO Dave Scott why he thought people had resigned. He suggests that it was all due to internal conflict related to discussions around controversial technologies. He said it all started with Faith, and I've been talking about making her a co-founder, and she said, I'll do it, but under the condition that you don't do Web3. And I said, I promise. And then what happened was the Blockchain Founders Fund investor posted a link on LinkedIn, and within minutes of him posting that, Faith resigned. So apparently, Augie, don't do that. So apparently a blockchain tech company wanted to invest, and so, yeah. Anyways, got to run. See you, Orcus Dorcas. If you want to know more, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances for sure. Not even sure what to say about it, honestly. Gee, get out of there. You dirty monkey. Come here. Come here, Augie. Got to feed the beast. All right. Whoops. All right. Cat cam, you bet. Where am I? Here we go. Okay. So this was Modifius's email that I got. So I've subscribed to Modifius's email amongst other RPG email newsletters. And check them out. But one thing that caught my eye was a new website for Dune Adventures in the Imperium. So if you are a Dune fan, Dune. Ooh-woohoo. I'll tell you once more before I get up the sand floor. Don't bring me Dune. You're welcome. So if you are fans of Dune, which like the second movie is coming, anybody playing Dune? Harrigan is not in the chat anymore. I think he might have went off to Genghis Khan, but he played Dune at Gamehole Con and was rather impressed. So here is DuneRPG.com. Gabe says, I'm running Dune sometime this year, probably for analytic dice. Nice. See what I did there? Very good. So I have a question, and I don't know if you could answer this, Gabe, but I am interested to know, can you, well, I mean, obviously Harrigan played a one-shot at Gamehole Con, but I'm just wondering if Dune is one of those where you got to play 3 sessions, 4 sessions at least to grok all the pieces. I don't know for sure, but Tad says, I'll probably run Dune this summer. Cool. Salt Heart. Oh, great. Look forward to Dune. Salt Heart, if you guys aren't in the know, him and Gabe both are co-hosts on the Analytic Dice RPG podcast. Go and check them out. I'm sure it's probably better as a campaign. I probably should go read Dune again. I think I read the first book. Probably audiobook, honestly. And for me, audiobooks was tough because I personally have to focus in well enough to like understand when dialogue moves. I mean, I space out for 30 seconds on a drive and oops, that's a rewind. What's going on? Where am I? Who am I? Oh, is it really just D20s in that system? Interesting. Tad says Dune works well for 3 to 4 session game. Have you run Dune, Tad? Shambot says, I always liked Dune. First started playing with the old Unicorn edition back in the early 2000s. All right. So thought I'd bring that up to people's attention. Let's see. I probably should have done the intro to that, which I always space out on the first one. Let's get into print news. Print news. All the news that's fit to print. EN World. Let's see what's new, huh? Shall we? All right. First one, Cursed Scroll. So, for those in the know, Shadow Dark is now out in print. Like, you can order it off their website. And backers should have all their stuff. And then, of course, Cursed Scroll is the zine that accompanies the... doesn't accompany the book. You can buy those, but they're for Shadow Dark. Looks like Volume 1, 2, and 3. So, from the Arcane Library, if you will, is the name of the company. The stuff is done by Kelsey Dion. Yeah. So it's a distilled. God blast it all, Augie. It's a distilled D&D for sure. I've enjoyed reading it. It's a quick read. Digest size book, very well done, black and white, and I like some of the things that are included in it. Shambot, they're in there. They're in there. It's right above you. Am I not seeing the links right above it? Sort by live chat, not by popular. Augie, can you not eat that? Come here. Come here. Want some more? Come here. Quit biting my cardboard boxes. Freaking Augie. Anyways. Ted says, haven't run it yet, but played 5 sessions game with a group and GM who are all huge Dune nerds. Going back to Dune. Let's see what else. Conan Weird Tales collection by Troll Lord Games. System. Any Conan Sword and Sorcery RPGs? Gabe, did you get in on this? Are you aware of this? I only pick on Gabe because I know he likes Conan. And Robert E. Howard. Covers the complete Weird Tales collection of Conan stories by Robert E. Howard. The Tower of the Elephant is the classic Conan tale of the barbarian infiltrating a perilous tower to steal a fabled gem from an evil sorcerer named Yara. Things don't go quite well as planned. Then there's Queen of the Black Coast. And then there's The Hour of the Dragon. Was Howard's only Conan novel and was created by revisiting several scenarios from earlier tales. Unaware. Well, there you go. There you go, buddy. Although, I don't know, you might already own these. So there you go, Conan fans. Next one, Hideous Daylight. Fabian's Atelier by Brad Kerr. Softcover adventures for Cairn RPG. Hideous Daylight PCs investigate why the sun has stopped setting over the king's favorite garden. They have to navigate a 20-point hex crawl to end the strange curse affecting the land. Fabian's Atelier is a follow-up to the adventure... Atelier? It's a follow-up to the adventure module Hideous Daylight, so it's the sequel, but may be played without any previous experience. The wizard Fabian is dead, and the magic is in his flying island sputters and fades. It's OSE. The author ran. I think it's probably Egg. Maybe wrote this article. I don't know. I ran both these using Old School Essentials and greatly enjoyed the adventures. Next one, Whale Dag. By Stacking Dice, OSR, softcover zine, $13. Beyond an icy strait left behind by a melted glacier lies a vast and mist-locked sea of strange, wondrous, and horrifying islands. Among these islands, PCs from the early Middle Ages will find evidence of the presence and reign of the first, an ancient civilization who has artificially created progeny dot the islands and have built their own civilizations and nations. Next one, Knives Out by Exalted Funeral for Merc Borg. Softcover supplement, 15 bones, features lots of knives, a side of repeaters, and fencing rules. A seedy tavern called the Rogue the Rouge Rogue. And that's home to an underground enclave of rogues. A handful of jobs that should be done with discretion. A detective class that doesn't believe in luck or fate. And a huge heist to steal the crown of a time-lost mad king. And more. Shadowrun 6th edition Wildlife Critter Deck. Wildlife and Critter Deck. So a hardcover supplement along with some cards for Shadowrun 6th ed. Next one, Stockholm Cartel. Pamphlets by Exalted Funeral US. OSR system special bundle. $22 for all these. Stockholm Cartel. Folks behind Cyborg. And some third-party stuff for Merkborg, I think. Crypt of the Crocodiles, The Unliving Court of Grimmr, The Prison Crypt of Muyi, Hell Lost, The Amadonian Ossuary, and The Cursed Abbey. The author was Charlie Dunwoody, by the way, not Egg. He has run that. There you go. Did I post it in the chat? I don't remember. I did. There you go. There you go for print news. We'll get into crowdfunding. Whoosh, boom. Brown. This was interesting. Doesn't really maybe affect us necessarily. I don't know. Cool Mini or Not leaves Kickstarter and will bring its board games exclusively to GameFound. First of its kind agreement for the crowdfunding platform signals a sea of change. So going back to last week, I believe, or the week before, I don't remember. They're running all into the same bucket for me. There was talks of Kickstarter like, hey, they may not be making as much money as they did before. Well, Cool Mini or Not does some pretty large Kickstarters. And now they won't be Kickstarters. They will be GameFounds. Nonetheless, a crowdfunding campaign. So imagine that after a staggering 12-year run on Kickstarter, the article says, game board publisher Cool Mini or Not will take its crowdfunding and pre-order business exclusively to GameFound. The founder of the Polish crowdfunding platform, Marcin Świerkat, I'm probably butchering his last name, told Polygon he was unable to disclose the terms of the agreement. What is certain, however, is that this maneuver marks a massive change in the relationship between Kickstarter, long the leader in the crowdfunding space and one of its biggest competitors. GameFound exited beta in early 2022. Growth accelerated in part by a significant investment from Disney Lorcana publisher Ravensburger. Then after falling short of its ambitious goals that year, the company rallied, nearly doubling its income from crowdfunding in 2023 to more than $56 million. Its revenue growth parallels Kickstarter's own tabletop revenue decline, which appears to have fallen by a reported $43.8 million over the same 2-year period. Hey, here's the competition, right? Meanwhile, San Fran-based BackerKit recently spun up its own crowdfunding business, which exited beta in July 2023. While the company has not yet logged a full year of crowdfunding revenue, has grown largely by courting disaffected Kickstarter users. High-profile converts include Gloomhaven, Frosthaven. They brought that line brought in $5 million to BackerKit. So, anyways, that crowdfunding shakeup. Here's the successful Cool Mini or Not campaigns from Kickstarter since 2012. I don't have this in a spreadsheet, but it is worth looking at. Like, Relic Knights was $909,000. Zombicide Season 2 was $2.25 million. Zombicide Season 3 was $2.8 million. Woo-wee. Zombicide Black Plague was $4 million. Whoa, man. Can you imagine? Let's talk. Hey, cool mini or not? This is Chuck over at GameFound. Wondering if you'd be interested in maybe checking out our platform. Maybe we could talk. We've noticed that you have all these. Your crowdfunding is on Kickstarter, and you've made them so much money. How much have are you kicking to the Kickstarter? What if we made a deal where you would only lose or contribute Y amount? Oh, man. Gonna be a rough year for Kickstarter, man. Some of these folks, some of these big heavy hitters, wowee. Wow. This guy, giving them a little plug. He's not here today, but he doesn't have to be. Nefertiti Overdrive 2.0 crowdfunding on Kickstarter currently. Pledged at $1,100, almost $1,200, pledged of $2,700 goal. It says dollars, but I know Fraser is in the Canada. So regardless, if you're interested, check out his crowdfunder. The Nefertiti Overdrive, God, when did he bring that out? I don't know if first published in 2015. So it's a game of high-octane action set during a period of turmoil in ancient Egypt. It's about cinematic set pieces and high-flying action. You'll engage in bombastic storytelling, narrating the rousing adventures of the greatest heroes of the age. It's the latest iteration of Nefertiti Overdrive, first published in 2015. So, Nefertiti Overdrive. Nefertiti? Is that what it is? No. Oh, it's a play on words. Nefertiti. So, check it out. Even if you're not interested in the game itself, you want to support Fraser. He's a good dude in the RPG space. I will say that. And it looks like if you want the PDF, it's 20 Canadian, so 20 Canadian dollars. It's about $15 US. You could always chip in $1 or $2. Just remember, if you give them like American dollars, it's like twice as much as Canadian dollars. Like, it's a lot more. So your dollar goes more further, and he will be able to eat more food. That is one very specific setting, says Salt Heart. The cover art was my work? Was it really, Rob? I did not know that. I did not picture you artist. I didn't know you did art. Did I? I did not know that. That's awesome, dude. So, and if you're not interested in doing the Kickstarter and maybe funding and chipping in, tell people about it. Go out on Twitter and the socials and the Facebooks. Put it out there for the masses. All right. There you go. Fraser. Next. Ian's Worlds. RPG crowdfunding news. Let's get into this. Yeah, all right. So there are 300 tabletop RPG related crowdfundings live at this time. Just so you know. So, oh man, Egg is covering this as he does. So he said 300. Yay, yeah, man. 300. Holy cows. Because it's Zine month. It's seen. Sentai and Sensibility RPG from 9th Level Games. Powered by Polymorph. Project type Core RPG Zine. $15 for both PDF and print. A little shipping and handling, if you will. So there's that. Here you go. What if Jane Austen wrote Power Rangers? It's Bridgerton meets Kaiju. Oh man. It's like so many games out there, man. So many games. Look at this thing. $1,000 goal, $1,800 goal. So where is this based out of? Because it's like a weird number. $1,811 goal. So I have to imagine that there might be some. It's at 32,000. 1,800% funded. It still has time to go. There you go. Next, Runecairn. Warden Saga remastered by Odin's Beard. Based on lightweight new school revolution systems Into the Odd and Cairn role-playing. 55 quid from the UK. This TTRPG is a Viking duet. What's a duet? It's one GM and one PC. Inspired by Dark Souls and Elden Ring, this game comes as 2 books. There you go. It's funded. 6,000 quid goal. It's at 21,000. Over 21,000. 8-bit theater tabletop role-playing game, and it is technically playable. Based on Lumen 2.0, created by Spencer Campbell of Gila RPGs. I have Spencer's RPG. Was it the solo RPG Time to Kill? I think. Yeah. Which is solo. This one, maybe not. The full name of this TTRPG, you're going to love this. The full name of it is 8-Bit Theater, the role-playing game, where you're the light warriors betting. Let me start from 8-Bit Theater role-playing game, take 2. The full name of this TTRPG is 8-Bit Theater, the role-playing game, where you're the light warriors getting Isaki'd to save a bunch of worlds, but it always goes wrong because they are real bad at this. Oh, man. It's a GM list with random table world building and resource-based diceless combat system that the classes have 8-bit era names like Black Mage, Fighter, Red Mage, and Thief. 8-bit style art. $840 goal. It's at 21,000. Man, it's good for some of these folks. To Insanity and Beyond. Bite-sized gaming for Mothership. $12 for the PDFs of all 3 adventures. Get in on this, Nubis. Nubis is my resident Mothership folk. 3 sci-fi modules, The God Number, Blue Infernum, and Neon Midnight. It's at 11,000 of $1,000 goal. Good, jeez, man. Wilderwim on the Discord as a zine up on the Kickstarter active time event. Sci-fi JRPG backgrounds for Troika. I'll bring that up. Thanks for the reminder, Jim. Next one, Gary's Appendix, A Thoughtful Zine. Issue 5 from RPG Ramblings. $16. Shipping and handling for the PDF and print versions of the zine. So it's $1,000 goal. It's at 5,000. Beetle Knight, a bug-sized role-playing game by Booklet Games. $38 core rule zine, original system. $3,500 goal. It's at 12,000. Jeez, almost 13. So many zines, man. Ratcatcher, the Sewers of Maristal. Zine Quest from Cheat and Fair Games. System is X-1. It's at $500 goal. It's at $1,100. Why Spotlight? Under the city and the sewers, the adventures begin. 36-page zine gives you a world of foul smells, foul monsters, and a foul way to make a living. It's not a Merc Borg setting, but it could be. It uses the X1 engine. You'll roll a D12, and success will depend on how skilled your character is. 4+ for your best, 7+ for your mid-tier, 10+ for the things your character is not the best at. There you go. I think that's it. Oh, it continues. I thought that was the last. That must be the last of the zines, maybe? Yeah. Steamboat Willie. Public domain. Solo TTRPG from Wannabe Games. Core rule zine, $20. With this project, the creators are making a unique approach to Mickey Mouse. Instead of playing as Mickey, you're playing as the artist that created Mickey. Oh. Solo roleplay where you'll journal and, more importantly, draw the creation of this character. Oh. Storyboards. $200 goal. It's funded at $346. There you go. That's the last one. There you go. Now I got to find what's his names. Wilder Whim. I don't know if he goes by that on Kickstarter. Active time event. There it goes. Did I bring this up once? I thought it was back in the past, maybe it wasn't kicked off yet. Active time event, a D66 of science fiction. Is it Japanese RPG? JRPG? Backgrounds for Troika. I think that's what JRPG stands for, if I'm not mistaken. Timescape's finest heroes get jammed together and blown apart in the science fantasy nonsense zine for Troika. It's at $380, going at a $600 goal. There's still 22 days to go, so quite a bit of time. It's the first created one for Wilder Whim. Mandatory warning that the zine is specifically intended for use with the contemporary OSR classic Troika by Melsonian Arts Council. You can find the precursor zine called Active Time Battle for free here, and there's a link. So, up for a realm of hopping adventure? You better get comfy with making weird friends. I'm talking uncomfortably hot time-traveling lesbians and canonically trans adventurers. Time-sucking vampires, booze-swilling dudes who think that this is all a simulation, bro. A very hungry, multi-morphing affront to God. The MC of the hot space hip opera. The #1 multiverse, multi-mythical, and best-selling single artist. The Galactic Rhyme Federation champion. The OG-based rap god. The throat goat himself, Lil Starchild. Legally distinct cute animal mascot. I had to sneeze. Excuse me. There you go. So Sean could say Willie, but not Pooh. Check, yeah. Hey, you know what? That's funny you mentioned that. Let me get a link into the chat here. That's funny you mentioned that. I got something to follow up with that. Tad. What he's talking, so I think it's what he's referring to is when I can't remember the creator's name, was going to do a Winnie the Pooh zine. I think it was a zine, crowdfunding. And I brought it up and it went off the rails. So, if you're going to implement Pooh, Winnie the Pooh into RPGs, and then it went in a spiral. Because I mentioned Pooh so many times in that video, YouTube, I think, flagged it for either I couldn't make money off it, like you demonetized that video, that live stream, or it was limited. So you can either have it green, like in YouTube, in the dashboard, you could choose to monetize. Like when I record this right now, live, I turn off monetization. Okay. When it's done, I go into the back end and turn on monetization. So for you guys, it's all ad free. For the folks that come later, they're gonna inject ads into the video. If you, and there's a checklist. There's like, does your video include any of these things? You say, no, it does not. And then it usually turns your little $sign green, like a little icon turns it green. If it's gold, then it's partially acceptable or partially monetized. Or there's limitations with the amount of advertisers that will appear on your video. And then, if you get a DMCA strike or something like that, say I put in some music and it's flagged, they will demonetize the video and it'll just be like, nope. So when I did the poo live stream, they marked it, I think, as gold. And I'm like, what? It's poo. Like, I'm not talking about, crap. So I contested it and then said, hey, this isn't really what you're thinking it is. And I think if anybody listened to it and fast forward to where it's marked, they would realize it's not. It's about Winnie the Pooh. And it got overturned. So now it's green. Thought I'd share that with you guys. Fine, we'll use Winston the excrement. Because of the poo equals China thing. Oh, really? I did not know that. No, this will get banned, Roger. Yeah. Or it might be that. It might be the yellow $sign is like it's monetized only in certain markets. That might be what it is. So I'm a YouTube noob, right, when it comes to monetization. So I think the yellow is like you can monetize your video, but it's restricted to monetization in certain markets. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So that makes sense. That would make sense. If I'm insulting the Chinese culture by talking about essentially scat and excrement for, because it was like 5 or 10 minutes. Anyways, it wasn't about that. It was about Winnie the Pooh. There's a little update for you. I don't know if I ever shared that, but yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm going to contest this. And then they, a week went by and they're like, hey, we found your video to be okay. I'm like, yay. Yeah, huge win for chat free speech. Right. So there you go. I think I'm going to wrap it up a little early today, folks. I got to take old Seamus to the vet, and he has to be there by 10:30 Central Time. So it's an ordeal, especially if I got to pick him up probably and put him in the car, because he's blind, and so I don't want him to hurt himself. And I can give you a little bit of time back and not draw it out for drawing it out's sake, if you will. So I want to thank everybody, to include these folks that have opted to chip into my Patreon. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today and participating. I really, really appreciate it. Like I say it quite often. I don't know what I would do if you guys didn't show up. I'd be talking to air every day. So thank you for interacting and contributing, if you will. Jim says some people have noted a physical resemblance between China's political leader and a fictional honey-loving bear. Oh, interesting. He's really salty about it. Oh, Terrence is stupid. Oh, is he really? Well, some of those guys got egos, I imagine. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go and be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Play games. Spend time with people you appreciate, and have yourself a great insert time day span here. Peace. See ya till next week, Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. All right.